I am Pete, also known as Risk for Rewards on Twitter. Currently have around 4,000 followers. If you want to have a look at my page, or if you want to look at any of my anti-post selections, the link's in the bio below, or you can find me at Risk for Rewards on Twitter, where you find all my Cheltenham anti-post selections so far. Today I'm just going to answer a few questions that people have tweeted me on the back of saying that I'm going to do this video. So I'm going to get straight to it. So the first question asked is by the Lucky Tipster. He's asked, who would be the one favourite you would want to lay at the Cheltenham Festival right now? Right now, obviously, I wouldn't want to lay any because there's so much that can happen, there's so much we can change. And we're, like I said, we're in a place where there's not really much point doing a lot. But come the time, there will be horses and there'll be plenty of them to take on. Just using some stats from, I haven't collated everything from 2021, but from 2020, there were 18 horses that were sent off 3 to 1 or shorter, and only 2 of them of the 18 won, so 16 lost. And there were 6 odds on shots, and only 1 of them won. Obviously, last year was much kinder, and part of me is feeling that that is the way that we're moving because we're getting a lot smaller fields, so there's a lot less chance of things like a horse bringing down another horse and stuff. That's not to say it won't happen, but we'll have to see. If I was forced to take one on right now at the prices, I'd say Concertista is too short. My concern with her is that last year I was on her for the Mares Hurdle, and I was so sure coming to the last when she took it up. The way she powered the year before in the Mares Novice away, it was harder for her to lose the race, and she managed to find a way to get outstayed. This year's Mares Chase was a war of attrition with LMA going out in front, and they just battled all the way to the line. And if it's that sort of similar race again, I could easily see Concertista looking like the classy act, travelling well, and then when they start pushing away with horses like Mount Ida in the field, potential Grand National horse, like she could really be found out. But again, she's not exactly short, so it's not something you're going to take on. And come the day, she could be 3 or 4 to 1. But we'll see how we go with that. Next question would be, Grant Shawcroft. Where's St Felician going? Gordon stated yesterday that the horse will be going to handicaps. Who knows where at the moment. Problem is you can have with that horse is it became a hype horse like pretty much overnight, and that whilst it was running with potential Group 1 horses, maybe placed Group 1 horses when found out, I think the handicapper is not going to be kind on that horse. And it will be over bet. It's not like it's going to slip into a handicap at 33s. Rob Scott asks, there's 3 in line coming to the last in the Triumph, Vauban, Pied Piper and Phil Dor. How does the race go from there? Well, I think a lot will depend on how the Triumph is ran. So one is if the pace that's gone and also the ground. If you get a pace like something like what Goshen had the year that he went off like a lunatic, if you had something like that and they all begin chasing that pace and it is soft or heavy ground on the Friday, then I think Phil Dor comes into this race big time. He's got a lot to turn round, but this is why I do not like punting the anti-post Triumph hurdle. The horses like all these golden horses like the Apple Shakiras and stuff, where they go off even money and they all beat each other. They all improve at different times. It's like betting on 2-year-olds on the flat. Some of these horses, like obviously Pied Piper's currently beating Vauban, and now people are like, well, Vauban's improved, so Vauban would now beat Pied Piper. Yeah, but Pied Piper's got course 1. It's so difficult for you to work out. So I think the best thing to do is you wait till the day, see what the bookies are taking on, and see what the ground is. I think pace is important for Phil Dor because he wants a truly run race, a minimum, possibly a fast pace, and also will want soft or heavy ground. I think the other two, you're looking at a coin toss. Pied Piper, he's got the course form and he did look very good, but he beat a very weak / average bunch, whereas Vauban's done it in 2 good races now, but did plenty wrong. I mean, did not look the finished article whatsoever. So I think it's one of those where I just wouldn't even entertain looking at that race till close to the time. Reminds me of when Tritonic came out and they were all like, oh, Tritonic's the next big thing. And yeah, we know how that ended. So Belfast boy in England, I look forward to this. How do you rate the chance of Elle Est Belle in the Mares Hurdle? Seems to finish races strongly and beaten previously by a few of the main protagonists in the Supreme. Yeah, I do think that form line is going quite underrated because everyone's calling John Bon such a hype horse. He's almost getting to the stage where he's the complete opposite. He's like, Elle Est Belle finished in behind John Bon. Most mares aren't campaigned against the male opposition. They will stick to the mare's programme the whole way through. She has been campaign hardy. I think a big indication will tell is if Skelton runs her, because Skelton knows what it takes to win the mare's races. He knows what a good mare's horse is, and his biggest problem is the fact that he's going to have the battalion from William Mullins. So Elle Est Belle's got good form, but would she have won last time out? I don't know. Obviously there was 2 fallers at the last. She got up on the line, which would indicate that the hill's probably going to suit, but she does have work to do with some of the other form protagonists. I think a big form line is obviously going to be the Elle Est Belle with the Allegorie de Vassy form. Not Elle Est Belle, sorry, Brandy Love. Brandy Love was in the car park the whole race and still managed to get up, but at the same time, was Allegorie de Vassy asked any opportunity? Not really. It was just a prep run for her. But the thing for Allegorie de Vassy is the fact that she's had her runs in France. Her potential to improvement is not like any of the others. She's ran over hurdles a couple of times. I'd say her form is probably going to be very similar to what she's already shown. So for me, there's others that are better. I back Brandy Love at 20-1. I still think she's a fair price at, say, 6s, something like that, because she's got so much potential to improve. And going into the Dublin Racing Festival last year, she was sent off the odds-on favourite for that bumper. So they obviously thought she had it all at home, and she's now beginning to show it. Yeah, question mark on her jumping, but it's Willie Mullins. He's going to have that squared away. The track goes the opposite way around, so I don't see it as a problem. The other one that is the dark horse at the moment, if declared today, because declarations are today, is Dino Blue for me. She said her timings weren't great, but she just looked brilliant in everything that she did in her race. We haven't seen her since. I think she'll be going to the mare's novice, regardless if we see her again. Hopefully we will, but it's still quite an open race. Elle Est Belle has a chance, but wouldn't be top of my list, especially with Mullins' record in the race. He's won it every race, bar obviously last year with Tell Me Something Girl. Gaz or Griffo has said, I'll keep it simple to keep the ball rolling. Best bet and best fave to lay, and best double. So best fave to lay was probably, as I think, I wouldn't lay it right now because you're so far out, it's not worth it. Anything could happen. You could be missing horses, things could change. One that you'd say best fave to bet. Currently, I still like the price of Tiger Roll. I think he's currently 4-1. We've had a very dry year. Providing it stays that way, he's not going to be 4-1 on the day. We know he's a superstar. He's done it so many times. If he runs to that level again, he's the one to beat regardless. So he's got the most ability for the price to contract. Like Prengard, they're now coming out, and Egner Bolger is coming out and saying that they're struggling to get a run into him. Well, I'm not being funny. If they needed to get a run into him, they would have wanted to run him in the cross-country chase on Monday. So there's clearly something more than just we need to get a run into him. And they said they won't send him straight there because he's only 6 and he's not experienced and he'd get too tired and it wouldn't be a good experience for him. Whereas Tiger Roll, you've got Gordon Elliott saying he's had his prep out in the proper prep and he's been over to Cheltenham to have his standard school. And I'd imagine he'll be going back there again to have another go around the things. That is his second home. So you almost definitely know what he's going to produce on the day. Ajas, we have got no idea where he is. Hasn't been seen for ages. Easyland was pretty awful in that handicap, and the fact that he's gone to over to John Joe says it's definitely the national that's the aim rather than the cross country. So he might run in the cross country, but I'd imagine that was to bring him on ready for the national. But he does come into it obviously if the ground's softer, and the rest are much of a muchness. There's plenty in there that if they take to the fences. But for me, I'd never pick a horse that hasn't either been round there or done the cross country over an island. If you've been round Cheltenham, then it's a massive bonus for this race. So it's just quite simple for me. I could easily see him going off 6-4, 2-1 if others don't turn up and stuff like that. And he's currently, you're looking at between 4-1, 9-2. He was 6-1 for a long time, and I can only see him going one way. So, and he has one on soft and heavy if you're going to use that as a stick to beat him, but I just think he's better on a faster surface. Ayoub at Sweeper Keeper 1. Any fancies for the handicaps yet? I do like my mate Mosley Estate Man. I've got a list of horses that I'd like to back for the handicaps. Stuff like Phil's Dudaris. I thought that was got a very easy run last time out. Which is quite common with Henderson. He likes to target certain races. Echoes in Reims, another. I've got a list, but until you see the weights and stuff, it's just pointless at the moment because all you're doing is backing buzz horses. Like the Boodles, for example. One horse will be favourite, then he'll run a stinker, and should he be pushed out for that because he's run a stinker? Well, he's probably trying to keep his mark down. they only need to find out the potential of the horse and what the horse can run to, and then they don't want to increase the marks. So yeah. At Stuart Keane, 86 Keeney, best festival ACCA and ACCA for day 2. I'm going to do that on a separate. I'm just going to cover day 2 for you because I'm also there. So I'll be covering much more in depth close to the time, but I'm going to do a separate video just of a short run through of day 2 in a second. And finally, Gary Broom. How many winners do you think the Irish can muster this year? Well, firstly, I think the Irish will obviously, they'll muster their plenty. We all know how good their horses are. I do think, though, the handicapper is almost getting to the level of really taking the mickey on this side with how he's pricing up, how he's giving the weights for the British. Like, Venetia, for one, is one that's really benefiting with this because she normally runs her horses every 2-3 weeks, and she'll get maybe 2 or 3 wins out of them, and then that'll be it. But like at the moment, she could rack up 4, 5, 6 wins because a lot of these horses, they're not winning by massive margins, but they're getting £2 or £3. Whereas before, they were getting like £7 or £8, and then coming to the handicaps at the Cheltenham,